students, how are you? I hope you are fine. Okay children, what we learned last class? We learned that reproductive system of male and female earthworm. Today we are going to learn the process of reproduction, that is copulation, reproduction process and the life cycle of earthworm. Children, do you remember what is the reproductive organ of male? There is a male reproductive organ for earthworm. It is a pair of testes, isn't it? And a female reproductive organ is ovary. Is it male and female worms are separate? No. They are, what it is? They are single worm only, but the both male and female reproductive organs are present in the same species. Hence it is called as, what is the name? Hermaphrodite. Very important 2-mark question. Hermaphrodite. Now we are going to learn, but already I said it is protandrous. What is protandrous? The male organ get matured earlier than the female reproductive organ. Hence the male sperms, that is male gametes, are matured earlier. So the same worms gametes are not useful for the production of new species. Hence cross fertilization will take place. What does mean by cross fertilization? That copulation, the connection between two earthworms, between, for example, earthworm A and earthworm B. There is a copulation between two earthworms. That is what, imagine earthworm A with earthworm B. So let's learn how the copulation process. So copulation is nothing but the process of exchanging the gametes is called as what? Copulation. Copulation. So already we know where is the male testes are located. Testes are located between the 10th and 11th segment. Isn't it? Between 9 and 10 one pair, and between 10 and 11 one pair. And where is the male genital opens? Male genital opening on 18th segment. Do you remember it, children? Likewise, where is the ovaries present? In 13th segment, and female genital pore is opening in the 14th segment. Understood? And along with that, in addition, where is the spermatheca located? Between the 7 to 8, 8 to there is 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8 to 9. Between 6 to 7, 7 to 8 and 8 to 9. 2, 2, 2. So total 2, 2, 2. So spermathecas. Totally 6 spermatheca. Do you remember all these parts? So take your book or take your drawn diagram. So refer all these parts. So these are all very important for the process of copulations. Okay. So while the process of copulations, what happens? Two worms come and meet in opposite direction. For example, worm A, egg is facing toward this side. Then the worm B, egg is facing toward opposite direction. So this is the process of copulation. For the process of copulation, this is the direction. One worm is facing this side, means the other worm will be facing opposite direction toward the former one. So this is a position of what? Coupling. This is a position of coupling. Let's draw the diagram. This is worm A facing the head this side. Okay? And where is the spermatheca located? I am drawing the segment from 6th segment onward. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So up to 14 I am drawing here. Okay. So now the next, this is considered this as worm A. Consider this worm A. Now worm B, earthworm, is facing opposite direction. Especially, so you know that between the 6 and 7 there is 2 spermatheca, and here 2 spermatheca, and here 2 spermatheca. So these are the spermatheca. 3, 6 sperma. Do you know what is spermatheca? If you zoom the structure, you will get the image like this. So what is the main function of spermatheca? Storing temporarily male gamete of the opposite worm, worm B. For example, this is worm A. This spermatheca store the male gamete sperms temporarily inside the spermatheca of worm B. So, worm B, where is that located? That male genital aperture is located in 18th segment. So, worm B, that 18th segment is facing this area. Okay, so this is 18th segment of worm B. So, worm B is facing head this side. This is worm B. So, 18th segment, then 17, then 16, then 15, then 14, then 13, like this it goes. Okay? Understood, children? Okay, so you know what is the clitellum? Where is located the clitellum? Already you learned. So, in earthworm, while you drawing the segment, especially the 14th segment up to 17th segment, 14 to 17th segment, there is a thick, that is what tissue-like structure formed. So that tissue is called as clitellum. It is formed due to some mucus secretion. This is clitellum. It is formed clitellum. What it is said to be? Clitellum. So you can find the clitellum between 14, 15, 16 and 17. So these segments will be having the clitellum. Okay. And where the 14th segment, 13 and 14. So from here. From here to 14, 15, 16, 17. So these 17 segments will be having the clitellum. 14, that is 4 segments. From 14 up to 17. You can find the clitellum. Okay. So, and then here inside the, what it is? Inside the 14th segment. So, in middle of the ventral side of the 14th segment, you can find the, this is called as female, that is female genital pore. So, in clitellum, so it is inside the clitellum. It is found inside the tissue of the clitellum. So, female genital pore. So, now what happens? This 18th segment is having the male genital apertures. What it is? That is male genital pore. So, once the worm B that is mature, once the worm B get matured, it will be coming and fixing like this. This is called as process of copulation. And during this process, the pineal setae, which is present inside the male genital pore, it is used to penetrate the male gamete inside the spermatheca. First, that spermatheca of between 8 and 9 will get filled, and the worm moves. Then it fills 8 and 9 between the 7 and 8, and again the worm moves and fills the spermatheca between the 6th and 7th segment. Here 2 theca, here 2 spermatheca, and here 2 spermatheca. Totally, all the 6 thecas are filled by worm B. The matured sperm of worm B, it is filled inside the spermatheca of the worm A. Spermatheca of worm A during the process of copulation. So, what it is helping? So, already we learned, while we learning the male genital reproductive system, we learned that accessory gland also. There are accessory gland, that is papilla. Where it is located? 19th and 16th segment. Just go for the former video and you can watch this, that in the 19th segment and in the 18th segment you can find that what it is accessory glands, that is prostate gland will open through accessory gland, which is said to be papillae. So this papillae, 4 apertures are there. These papillae are secreting certain fluids which is act as a cement, and it is useful for the binding process of the two worms A and B. So entire copulation process, these liquids or these few secretion make them to lock between, make them to create a bind between the two earthworms. Understood, children? So now once that the male genital pore is filling the sperms inside the spermatheca, so now the process is completed, the copulation process is finished, so the earthworm gets separated. Once it separates, now after the copulation, so after copulation, the earthworm gets separates. Now listen, this is the worm which get the spermatheca, the sperms are filled inside the spermatheca. So 6th segment, 7th segment, 8th segment, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and from 14 onwards, 14, 15, 16 and 17. So this will be having clitellum. Here the 14th segment, 14, 15, 16 and 17. Clear children? So now here the spermatheca, between the spermatheca is completely filled with the sperm. So now this 3 spermatheca is completely filled with sperm, matured, filled with matured sperm. Understood children? So which species sperm? Earthworm, sperm of worm bee, sperm of worm bee. So this worm bee is filling its male gamete inside the spermatheca of worm A. Worm A. Now, so the worm A, this is worm A, now filled with the sperms of worm B. Now, what happens? The clitellum. Now, this earthworm start to mature. So, once it start to mature, so it will start to release the ova. So, for example, here the clitellums act as a vector. For example, suppose this is a clitellum. This is the clitellum means, so it is like this. It is located over the that is what the skins or the earthworm body surface. So you can find the gap between the surface of earthworm and the clitellum. You can find a space. So that space is filled with the fluid, that's mucus substance. That space is filled with the mucus substance. For example, take the ring here. I'm showing the ring. So suppose this is 14th segment. This is 14th segment. Here the 14th segment is releasing the eggs. If it is releasing the eggs. So what happens? This clitellum is nothing but it is a thick mucus secretion. Due to the thick mucus secretion, it will be look like a thick skin like. Okay, so what happens after the maturation? The ovum will be released from the 14th segment. So this clitellum will take the released ovum, not only single ovum, it will release more ovums. So along with the ovums, the clitellum start to move from the 14th segment toward the head part. So while it moving along with the ovum, once the earthworm is reaching the spermatheca region, where is spermatheca? It is located in the between 6 and 7, 7 and 8 and 8 and 9. So while it coming here, the spermatheca start to eject the sperms inside the clitellum. So now this is a clitellum. So it's from the 14th segment, it will carries the ova released by the that is earthworm. So and then it will take the egg and moving toward the 6th, 7th, 8th segment like. So for this process, the earthworm start to move backward. So while it moving backward, the clitellum start to come forward. So while it coming forward, it collect the spermatheca, that is sperm from the spermatheca. So once it collected spermatheca, the clitellum will be completely come out of the earthworms. So now this is example as a clitellum. So now this clitellum is having what are the things are having? So now it is having the ova released. So like that the clitellum moves from here to here. If it is moves like here to here, once it comes here, what happens? The spermatheca start to produce secrete the releasing the sperms here. So now like that again the clitellum moves and comes out, and it will come out. Now this clitellum will be having the ova. Along with that it will be having male gamete. So it will having collections of male gamete and collections of female gamete. Now this is a clitellum. Once it is falls down from the earthworm, it attains a shape like cocoon. It attains a shape like cocoon. What it is cocoon. So inside the cocoon, the fertilization will take place. So the earthworm, the fertilization is external. Have you listened here? So it is not internal fertilization. What is meant by internal fertilization? If the gamete exchange takes place inside the body itself, then it is called as internal fertilization. Already you learned in the previous classes. Now here the earthworm releasing the egg and sperm inside the clitellum. So the clitellum is lying outside the body. Now it is changed into the form of cocoon. Here the fertilization will take place. Then it forms the zygote. Understood? So after the zygote formation, so this cocoon start to produce a young little earthworm. So this earthworm is a little tiny earthworm comes out from the cocoon. So totally 2 to 20 cocoons or 2 to 20 earthworms may come from one cocoon of earthworm. For example, 2 to 20 little tiny earthworms comes out from the cocoon. Okay. So this is what. So here no metamorphosis takes place. What is metamorphosis? For metamorphosis, a lot of stage will take place. For example, butterfly, egg will be changed into caterpillar. Caterpillar will be changed into cocoon. Then the cocoon, from the cocoon, it will entire caterpillar is converted into a insect with wings and all the feature. Okay. So here no metamorphosis, morphological difference you can see. So directly the cocoon producing small tiny 2 to 20 earthworms. So this is a new little earthworm formation. Okay, so this is completion which takes place between the two earthworms in opposite direction. So they come and lie in opposite direction. One worm A facing this side and then worm B facing opposite direction. Now the worm B, if the male gamete is matured, this is male reproductive opening. This will be secreting with the help of pineal setae and with the help of the accessory papillae. This will be getting attached with the worm A, and this will start to eject the male gamete inside the thecas of this segments. So between 8 and 9 and 7 and 8 and by 16 and 6 and 7 segments. So it fills first here and then it fills here. While the earthworm moves, all the 3 pairs of sacs will be filled with the sperms, and once the exchanging material takes place, the detachment will be stopped. Then the separation of earthworm takes place. Once the earthworm gets separated, now the clitellum is ready and it will be start to carrying the released egg from the worm A, and it move from here to forward. Then so for this movement, the earthworm start to move backward. While it moving backward, the clitellum comes forward. So when it comes forward, automatically that here the cocoon is carrying the released egg, and while coming here, this spermatheca releasing the male gametes, and with the both it will be comes out and it is formed the cocoon stage, and inside the cocoon only the fertilization takes place. So it is called as external fertilization. So here this is the process of copulation and the reproduction takes place like this. Children, let's learn. Children, I hope you all understood about the process of reproduction and what is the structure of male and female reproductive organ. So especially earthworm, especially the reproductive and phase and male and female reproductive organ of earthworm is very important. 5 more questions. Just remember. Okay. Now we are going to learn about the life cycle of earthworm. Let's learn the life cycle of earthworm. Life cycle of earthworm. So what happens? First copulation will take place. So I'll draw from this process. Okay. So this is worm A and this is worm B. and this is a process of copulation. So then 10 days it will take for forming the cocoon. For 10 days it will take for changing the released egg will change into form of cocoon. That released clitellums change into the form of cocoon within 10 days. So after the 10 days, 15 days is called as incubation period. Incubation period. So after the incubation, a tiny earthworm will come out. Tiny earthworm will come out. So this is called as juvenile phase. Juvenile phase. And after that again it will take 15 days. So this 15 days are called as growth phase 1. Growth phase 1. After that, so now the earthworm is grow in size. Grow in size, but it is not having the clitellum. It is not having the clitellum. So clitellum is not present. So such earthworm is said to be non-clitellated. Non-clitellate. This worm is said to be non-clitellate. Now this will take another 17 days for the formation of clitellum. So this phase is said to be growth phase 2. What it is said to be? Growth phase 2. So now, so the growth phase 2, the earthworm get matured. So the clitellum is formed. So which segment will be having clitellum? Between the 14th segment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So this 14 to 17th segment, the clitellum is formed. Okay. So after this, it will be undergo. So this is called as reproductive phase. Reproductive phase. Reproductive phase of earthworm. So for this complete life cycle, it will take 60 days. So after the reproductive phase, it will give again, it will go for copulation, reproduction process, then cocoon formation. Then, so this cycle will take place. This is called as life cycle of earthworm. So already we learned what is that juvenile phase. So juvenile phase is nothing but it's grow. There are 3 types of growth phase. So growth is obtained by 3 phases. One is juvenile phase. Second one, growth phase. And last one is reproductive phase. So okay. So this is the life cycle of earthworm. So let's see once again. So first one. So here the copulation will take place between worm A and worm B. So why it is? Because of prodandry. Prodandry means one worm's male gamete is matured earlier than the female gamete. So the fertilization, even though it is a hermaphrodite, the fertilization will take place between the 2 worms for exchanging the genetic material. So after getting exchanged, what happens? It will be try to form the clitellum released from the worm and it forms the cocoon within 10 days. After that, what happens? This cocoon will start to incubate. What is mean by incubated? Maintaining in particular temperature for certain hours. So for incubating, it will take 15 days. So 15 days it is maintained inside the soil. Then you can even collect the cocoons from the soil. So and then this cocoons start to produce 15 days afterwards, the cocoon start to produce a tiny. So totally I said one cocoon can produce 2 to 20 tiny earthworm. 2 to tiny earthworm can be produced from one cocoon. So once it is comes outside the cocoon, so this phase is called as juvenile phase. Small, that is the starting growth phase. Then it will take 15 days for it will attain the growth phase 1 and it reach the stage non-clitellate. This non-clitellate doesn't have the clitellum. Then it will take 17 days next for the growth phase 1. After attaining growth phase 2. So after this attaining growth phase 2, that earthworm is formed that clitellum and remaining part all the systems are well developed, and now this worm is ready to enter inside the reproductive phase. And between the reproductive phase, again the population will take place, and again the next cycle will take place. For completing all the entire cycle, the earthworm needs 60 days. Earthworm needs 60 days. Children, up to clear what is mean by the life cycle of earthworm. Okay. So let's learn the economic or uses of earthworm. Uses of earthworm. So earthworm has a lot of economic importance. So in olden days, the earthworm is used as a bait for fish catching. So act as a feed for the fish catching. So it acts as a bait for fish catching. So it is the olden days, already they use the earthworm like this. Now what is the main function of earthworm? What it does? It will eat the that is decayed organic matter along with the soil, and it excrete as a waste. So that excretion will be having lot of nitrogen salts, which is good for the which having lot of salt for the to nourish the soil. Okay, so it will decompose the organic matter. Decaying or decomposing organic matter. Decomposing organic matter, by them it enrich the nutrient of the soil. So it will decay the organic matter, that is fallen leaves and all the papers and coconut fibers like this, all it will decompose and it change into a enriched nutrient for the soil, and it is increase the porosity. What is meant by porosity? So it forms a gap while the earthworm. So earthworm already you learned, it will be lie in different that is the strands. Okay. So what it will do? It will, while it moves, it create lot of porations. So that the porosity is very good for the soil for oxygenation, for getting oxygen, for exchanging gaseous material. The porosity is very important. So it is useful for the porosity. It increases the porosity, thereby aeration of the soil. Increase the aeration of the soil. Okay, increase the aeration of the soil. So here what happens? It will be what are the nutrient while decomposing, enriching the nutrient in the soil, that is said to be humus. Have you seen the humus? What is the color of humus? It is in black color. So which is very good for the plant growth. So this is organic manure. It acts as organic manure. It will stable in the soil. And give prolonged use when compared with the chemical fertilizer. Instead of using chemical, if you use the humus, it will stay there for a long time and give benefit for the plants and that is crops grow. Okay. So it will increase the porosity and increase the aeration. And then it is not only it is used to prepare the humus, it also used to prepare that is what vermiculture. Do you know what is vermiculture? What is vermiculture? Culturing the earthworm. Culturing the earthworm, so for preparing the humus. Culturing the earthworm. So maximum in the villages, the farmers are doing the vermiculture. They are culturing the earthworm. So and for enriching the soil because of this property. Because of this property, the earthworm is said to be what? Farmer's friend. Who is said to be farmer's friend? Earthworm is said to be farmer's friend because of this this activity of the earthworm. It is called as farmer's friend. And so this vermiculture we know, and it acts as a entrepreneurship for preparing humus and for doing business also. And it is vermi wash. Vermi wash. Vermi wash is a liquid which is collected from the vermiculture, and that liquid is very much useful for the plant growth. Even it is similarly like the humus and a lot of things. Children, up to this clear? So once again we recall the economic importance and uses of earthworm. Even in Japan like countries, they will take the earthworm as a food. So here now let us learn uses of earthworm. Earthworm in olden days they tried to use as a bait for fish catching. For fish catching they use this earthworm as a bait. And next one, it is used to decompose the organic matter, the fallen leaves, fallen organic matter, and convert into nutrient humus, which is good for the plant growth. And it will increase the porosity of the soil, and which leads the good lighting and good aeration, all the things. Okay. And next one, the vermiculture means culturing earthworm in the field or farm and for increasing production of the humus. And next one, vermi wash is collected from the vermiculture, and that liquid has full nutrient for the plant growth. Children, I hope you all understood. Today we learned the copulation, process of fertilization, how the cocoons formed, how the life cycle of earthworm takes place, what are the uses of the earthworm. Hereby we completing the earthworm. In next class we are going to learn about the cockroach and detailedly about the cockroach system. Thank you children.